Okay, so from the point of view of superposition now, we have two sources and we want to figure out how much each one contributes to Ix right here. And so we need to start then by redrawing the circuit. And okay, so I haven't got the redrawn circuits pulled in here. I should have had them. But in any event now, when we redraw it the first time, it's from the point of view of E1. And so that means that we have E1 here, 100 volts. We have a 1 ohm resistor. I can't draw resistors real good with this, but we got 10 ohms here on the bottom. We got 1 ohm on the top. We got 1 ohm here in the middle. And of course now I prime will go down through that resistor. And over here on this side now we have a 15 and a 1 in series with each other. And so we have over here 16 ohms. Okay, so we have 1 in parallel with 16, and that is 1 times 16, so 16 over 1 plus 16, or 17. And that gives us 0.941. And again now, if we redraw that now, we got this. And we got 1, we have 10, and 0.941. So RT is sum of all those, right? And so 11.941. So now IT is equal to our 100 volts divided by 11.941. And so that is equal to 8.374 amps. Okay, so E1 produces a current, goes this way, and it is IT there at 8.734 amps. It divides into our prime and a current that goes this way. So by current division, I prime is equal to, the direction agrees with I prime, so it's going to be a positive. And by current division then, right, REQ over 1 ohm times IT. And remember, REQ is the 1 in parallel with the 16, so 0.941. And so, the idea is that most of the current goes through the 1 ohm because the 16 is really big, small current through that in comparison. And so we have then 0.941 over 1 times 8.374. And that is I prime at 7.88 amps, right? And remember, that's a positive because the direction of I prime agrees with the direction of IT. So that's I prime. Okay, now the next circuit will have E2 over here, and note the polarity of that is positive on the bottom. E2, 100 volts, and we have on top 15 ohm, we have the 1 ohm, and I'm sorry my resistor is not very good there, but I'm Remember, I'm drawing that with the mouse, right? So on top we got a 15, the bottom we got a 1, here we got a 1, and over on this side here, remember, E1 is a short circuit, so we'll just put a wire in there and say that those two resistors are in parallel, and so that gives us an equivalent of 11 ohms over here. Now, we know that E2 is going to produce a current that goes this way, but I double prime is down, right? Because I double prime agrees with the direction of IX. So that means I double prime is going to be negative. Well, that's fine, right? Because we keep our directions constant with respect to that. So now we have 11 in parallel with 1. And that equals 11 times 1 over 11 plus 1. And so again, now you see the majority of the current goes through the I1 because it is the smallest resistor. In any event, 11 in parallel with 12 is 0.917. And if we redraw the circuit then, we have that 0.917, we have the 1, we have the 15, oh, my drawing is getting worse in it, and the 100 volts over here with the plus sign on the bottom. And so now that means that RT then will be equal to the sum of all of those. And so RT is equal to 15 plus 1 plus 0.917, so 16.917 ohms. IT then equals 100 volts divided by 16.917 ohms, and IT is equal to 5.91 amps. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my answer over here now. And so remember then, by current division, I double prime is going to be equal to, the direction does not agree with IT here, right? And so that means we're going to put in a negative sign and our IT and REQ over 1 ohm. And so negative 5.91. And remember, the REQ was the combination of the resistances that the current divides between. IT divides between the 1 branch we're calculating and the 11. So that's this 0.917 here. So 0.917 over 1, and our double prime comes out to be negative 5.42 amps. Okay, so now the current through the 1 ohm resistor, which is IX now, is simply the sum of those two. And so IX, and because we took the polarity and directions and so on into account already, we don't have to worry about them here, simply the sum. Because so I prime plus I double prime. And so that gives us now 7.88 amps plus negative 5.42 amps, or subtract 5.42 amps. And so what we're saying, right, is that I1 causes a current that goes down through the 1 ohm resistor. E2 rather, E1 produces a current that goes down through the 1 ohm resistor. E2 produces a current that goes up through the 1 ohm resistor. So the net current in the 1 ohm resistor then becomes the difference between them, right? And so that gives us 2.46 amps. And so 2.46 amps for Ix. And of course, you know, that direction is down because that's the direction that we had for Ix. And so, you know, E2 then produces a bigger current down through, and E2 produces a smaller current up through, so the net current is 2.46 down through the 1 ohm. And so a positive 2.46, because that agrees with the direction that Ix was specified in.